Morning, everybody. Day 192 of the GGR, and it's the 16th of March, and it's a beautiful sunny day in Les Sables d'Olonne. Everything's good here, and poor old Goog is still stuck in his hole. He can't go anywhere. Anyway, he's been calm up until now, but he must be losing it now. And Kirsten sailing again, so that's cool. And so a few things going on, but no big news on any of the tweets, so everything's relatively calm on board. And all good. Now, listen, if you haven't liked or shared GGR on Facebook or on YouTube, please do. We hit 15,000 subscribers on YouTube yesterday, which is kind of cool. But I know a lot of you aren't actually on there yet, and the staggering figures are Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't liked GGR Facebook, please do, and I'll give you some numbers. The last news that we put out, the press release news, had something that it reached over 100,000 people on Facebook. We had over 2,000 emotions, people hitting like or wow or whatever it is. But of those 2,000 people, 7% of those 2,000 people had actually liked the GGR Facebook page. Okay, I went through the whole lot, did the numbers. We're currently just trying to reach 60,000 people that are liking the GGR page. So if you haven't liked GGR Facebook yet, you've probably been invited, because I always go through. Please like GGR Facebook. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do. Helps us a lot, which would be cool. Anyway, that's enough of the sales talk. What else is happening? Oh, the Figaro guys, they have the Figaro here, right? And for sailing, I'm digressing a bit here. There's about 35 boats racing Figaro. They're all one design class. It's the best of the best. And, if you do really well, if you win the series on Figaro, you usually, go up to a class 40. And then if you win really well in class 40, you get in the Vendée Globe and get him the Mocha. But the guy who won yesterday, his boat was white. He was a Corinthian, basically, no sponsors at all, and he won. He blitzed all the other guys. It was quite a story here, so that's cool. Anyway, I digress. Back to the GGR in these beautiful old slow boats. So we'll close in here now on Ian, still progressing ever so consistently towards Cape Horn, and he's blessed with really good weather at the moment, doing 4.8 knots, and he's managed 100 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. And distance to go, which is the next big statistic people really want to know, to Cape Horn is about 700 miles. Okay, so if he's making 100 miles a day, which is probably a reasonable average, considering he's not sailing with his mainsail, he's still on 3 reefs on the main, unless we hear differently. That's about a week away. So we'll follow through the weather for a week in a minute. Jeremy, as we predicted, he's hooked up into these northerly winds. I think you can see that from there. He's got these northerly winds. It's quite strong. It's probably 30, just over 30, gusting 40. It's on the beam, which is quite challenging in some ways because he'll be getting water over the boat and stuff. But it hopefully won't last very long. So I'm just going to punch this through now, and we can see what's going to happen with the weather. I didn't give you stats. So 5.2 knots, and he did 121 nautical miles. We had a good chat on SoundCloud. If you haven't heard it, he's quite happy to be around, of course, and looking forward to getting north and some warmer weather. Okay, so there's the good news. Literally, Jeremy, within the next couple of hours, that moves away very quickly, swinging through northwest and going into the westerly, and that's going to push him along. Ian's got exactly the same weather, basically. It was softening off. We're same wind direction, but softening off. Jeremy gets a real kick up the bum, and he'll start flying then, but it's all in the right directions. So everything's looking the same as was predicted yesterday. Nothing's changing in the weather, which is really good. Ian's looking really good there. He'll be enjoying the sail. That's quite cool. He is enjoying the Southern Ocean. He's blown away by the whole thing at the moment, and he's anxious to get around Cape Horn as well. A bit more breeze there for Ian. It's up to 30, gusting over 40, probably 5-meter seas, but it doesn't last long again. And we're into the 18th. I'm going to open this up a bit now so you can see the weather that's coming for Ian. And that's of more interest because I'm going to keep pushing it through for a week. And that'll give you an idea. But through the 19th, he's still looking okay. He'll be a bit further progressed by then. By the time we get to 19, 3 days ahead, he's going to be down here somewhere. So That's a bit heavier, but it's certainly not a storm, not what you'd expect down here this time of the year. So there's the 19, the 20, same thing. That was that blow that we thought were going to be there. If he had have had a full main, he might have been down around here by now, but because he's going a bit slower, he's probably going to miss that. That's on the 20th, 4 days from now, so he's probably going to be 400 miles further ahead, and that's right about there. So he'll just miss this blow because it's strengthening as it gets around Cape Horn, but he'll probably just missed it. So maybe going slow is a good thing for now. So okay. So yeah, he's missed that one. There's nothing else happening here. Whoop, he's going to cop that one. Okay, so that's the 21st. So by the time I'm just going to backtrack this. Yep, he's going to cop that one. So he'll be around about where my cursor is right now, and that's still 5 days ahead. That could get a lot worse, but hopefully it'll get a lot better. So it looks like he's going to have to pay the price to get around, and it doesn't look too extreme, but there's a couple in quick succession. He'll cop that as well, so hopefully that'll all disappear by the time the forecast is there. It'll go one way or the other, that's for sure. Anyway, and Jeremy had a good ride there then, so that's not too bad. And poor old Good, look at him, jeepers. He's just still sitting there. He just can't get out of it. Oh, he started moving. Prior to that, the previous 4 hours average, he was a lot slower than that, but he's now doing 4.1 knots. So at least he's on the move and he's in the right direction by the look of it. Simon's just gone in a little bit of a hole. Not a hole, but softer. He was still doing 6.5 knots the previous 4 hours. Now he slowed down to 5.2. And look at Kirsten. Whoa, she got a puff. So she's she's picked up. She was doing 6 knots before the previous 4 hours. Now she's doing 6.2, all in the right direction. So that's pretty good. And Abelish, 4.8. He's slowed down. That's interesting because the previous 4 hours, he was doing 6 knots as well. And this is what we were suggesting. He's going to run into a bit of a hole here. And if Kirsten's lucky, she's out of it now and she'll keep moving forward, but not in heaps of it, but then it lightens off. Anyway, we'll have a look at that in a sec. So let's look at the statistics for now, just the distances to see the winners and losers in this whole thing. So because now they're all starting to get into similar weather on the rum line. Yeah, Simon's about the same, about 200 miles behind Abelish. So that's not too bad. Now, if I push this up to where equivalent rum line sailing for Kirsten, Simon is now 300 miles behind Kirsten. And if we have a look at Abelish here, just get to Kirsten's sort of equivalent rum line, although Kirsten's still in a more commanding windward position, but he's only about 100 miles behind her there. Let's just have a look and see what the leaderboard's saying. That'll say a slightly bigger gap, I reckon. Kirsten's on 4,007 and it's showing Abelish on 4,266. And that's, so it's saying 266 miles behind Kirsten, and that's because of the angle of the rum line going back up to La Sable d'Olonne. Anyway, and Simon doesn't count because he's not in the run for places and stuff. But we'll have a look just to be sure. Chichester class. So Simon's on 4,436. So it's showing effectively 436 behind Kirsten, or just over 400. So they're all in touch. So it's going to be quite a bit of fun to watch what happens now going forward. So and poor old Goog, yeah, he's anyway. I'll try and do all 4 at the same time here, and just push the weather through, and just see if we can get an indication. And boy, that Goog's fluffing around there. You can see as I'm pushing this through. In fact, I find that quite distracting. So I'm going to forget about the lead, guys. I'm going to do it in 2 hits here. So we're just focusing on Goog at the moment, trying to get out of this high. It's a bit of a challenge. It's just rotate. See that? It's just rolling around him. So it's going to be hit and miss. That's literally for the next 24 hours. Yep. So then it's gone to the side of him. He's gone headwinds. He's going to get the complete mixed bag there. Winds from the east, from the northwest, and then he's on the back side of it. So it's going to go headwinds. So wow, and it's moved in front of him. Look at that, poor guy. He's got to try and sail through that. So So as he was sailing, trying to make progress, going all the way the wind going all the way around the compass, he's going to be up here somewhere, and it's still in front of him. So that's playing games with poor old Goog. He's going to be very frustrated with that. This is we're into the horse latitudes, I think. Let's have a look here. Yeah, this is what happens. This is where they chucked all their horses over the side because they ran out of drinking water. Um, so yeah, some frustrations there for Goog. But anyway, because even here it looks like it's good, but by then he's up here, but he should be sailing. So the next couple of days, and not much joy for poor old Michael on Nuri. So what's going to happen here? Let's just have a look. We'll start from there. You can pick what boat you want to look at. I'm pushing through. Every click is an hour. You can see it juggling on. Kirsten's holding the breeze. Simon is now starting to run out. And you've actually got a bit of this trough coming up here, which might be a barrier. Could give Kirsten a chance to pull away. And you can see a little bit of it as well over with Aberlin. So very light, but Kirsten's got it here, although it looks like it's lightening off, and that's not even in the first 24 hours. We're only 12, 14 hours. Here we come up to, okay, there's 24 hours. So then it's going even across the board. You can see the wind that Kirsten's got is very similar to what Aberlis is going to have. And Simon, yeah, he's got about the same. So they're all sitting in the pattern. That still puts Kirsten in a bit of a better position because if we go back, she's in a more windward position. So although for this, she'll keep going up. So windward doesn't really matter. And also Aberlis going, he'll still keep going up. If this light easterly holds, he's not going to be tacking. He's just going to go up there. And Simon's the same. So then it comes down to when they get into the doldrums, but that's too hard to predict yet. So that's only 1 day forward. So that's the first 24 hours. And what's happening here, as we saw yesterday, the whole thing's just light and fluffy. Okay, that's interesting. So we're now nearly 2 days ahead, and you see Aberlis is going to get more breeze. He's going to get more breeze than Kirsten, so he should start moving faster, and he might start to take out that extra 100 miles. So then they'll be neck and neck going north. Simon's a bit of a mixed bag. He'll come up here, and it could be a bit light. Anyway, we'll keep pushing it through. Yes, Aberlis will get a bit of a kick, and then it looks like Kirsten's going to. It's a bit hard to predict. Kirsten might have a little bit more breeze there compared to what Aberlis is going to get. And Simon, no comment. It's all a bit fluffy there. So now we're into the 19th. So this is coming up to 3 days ahead. Oh, the breeze is definitely filling in from the east. I'll get rid of my Chinese software hook. Yeah, Kirsten's going to get maybe 12 hours of stronger breeze before it gets all the way across to Aberlis, and I'm not sure what's going to happen to Simon. He might be held back from there. But this is now, I'll bring it up to 4 days. So no, I'll leave it there. So 3.5 days. And I reckon that might be worth about 350 miles. So Kirsten's going to be about 350 miles ahead at that point. Not ahead of the fleet, but forward advance. So she's going to be up around there, and Aberlis is going to be about the same. I think Aberlis and Kirsten are still going to be pretty much neck and neck up here, and Simon might lose 100 miles or something. That's about all. I think that's the way it's going. Oop, press the wrong button. Okay, so that's probably a bit far enough to try and predict the weather, but just for fun. For those that want to hang around, I'm going to just keep pushing it through a bit and see what's developing with because they'll be getting very close by this stage, very close to the doldrums, which is here, and it's looking reasonably well established. This is all thunderstorms and fluky wind and just all very much local weather. Okay, and they're talking about being there in about 3 or 4 days, so I'll just keep pushing that through. Yep, it's a traditional, very traditional, in fact, even wide doldrums. It's coming down on an angle that might suit Kirsten because she'll reach up here, but Aberlis might be in this spot here, so he might stop. But then it gets really fluky and impossible to predict the sailing conditions up there. But there is a well-established doldrums forming by the look of it. We'll roll this through and see if it's holding. Yep, it's holding all right. So they've got some battles then to get through the doldrums, and that'll be winners and losers all around, which are impossible to predict. So, okay, that's about it for today, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So thanks for that, and goodbye.